Well, hello everybody. I want to welcome you to the first of our sessions tonight. I'm pretty excited about getting started and getting rolling in this month's product creation webinar series. And we're going to be doing at least 4 calls, and we'll probably do a fifth. I think I'd like to spend a little time on actually getting your page done. So I'm actually going to be doing an extra session because there are a lot easier ways for you to actually get your copy written as well as to get your product created with a sales page. Now, tonight, what we're going to be talking about, of course, is the niche and really getting you started. This is a place where a lot of people really struggle, and a lot of people, and myself included, have started trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Where am I going to start, and what niche is going to be the most profitable? And I'm going to move you past that point in this session. We need to move quickly because the goal by the end of this 4-week session is for you to have your product actually completed. So we want to get past that point, and we're going to work through the niche tonight. Now, the goal of tonight's session, right? Tonight's session is going to be, throughout the week, it's for you to pick a niche to work in and start searching for product ideas, right? So all we're going to be doing this week is for you to nail down the niche that you're going to work in. And this is vital because you want to be able to create a product that you know you're going to be able to deliver to your customers in a way that you're going to be proud of. You're going to feel good about what you're giving to them. And so picking the niche is going to be pretty important. At the same time, though, we don't want it to paralyze us, right? We don't want it to paralyze us to the point where we don't do anything. And then thirdly, we want to pick a niche where people are actually buying stuff. Right, and we're going to talk about that tonight because this is sort of another thing. And I mean, I learned the lesson the hard way. Sometimes you can produce a product; it's a fantastic product. You produce something you're proud of. It's just that there's no market for it. And so you want to be able to pick a niche this week to work in and start really researching for your product ideas. Now, here's where I want to start, and this is going to be pretty important because, in essence, getting a product completed, even sometimes if it doesn't sell 1 million copies, is going to be good for you in this process because you will then be able to walk through this process when you find the actual niche that you are most comfortable in. And sometimes it might take a niche or two. It might take an experience or two before you find the niche that you're going to be comfortable with, right? So now you need to start thinking about, okay, is there something that I already have a lot of knowledge in, right? Are you already an expert in an area? Are you already knowledgeable about something that, let's say, most people have not had your training, they have not had your education, they have not had what you've had in terms of being able to do this particular area that you're going to be working in. And if you have that area, this is going to be the best place to start. You're going to be able to deliver at a high level that other people are not going to be able to deliver at. Now, that may or may not, this is going to be rare that someone is going to fall into this category if you're taking this course. But there are some of you who are there. And so if you already have an area of expertise, then there's really no need, at least for your first product, for you to go looking for an area in order to produce a product in. All we really have to do is to find out where your expertise intersects something that people are already looking for. So in other words, what you have to do is something that's going to be different. And right now I realize that when I say this, I'm talking to maybe 2% of you who are taking this course. Some of you have expertise that intersects something that people are already looking for. And so this for you is going to be the place where you are going to start looking. Now, you might say, now, how do I know if my expertise intersects something that people are already looking for? And what I would say to you is doing a very, very simple search in Amazon.com will tell you that in Google or in Udemy. Now, I'm going to actually show you this right now so that you can see what I'm talking about here. And what I want to do is I actually want to share my web browser, and I'm actually gonna share a web browser with you. And let's see if I can bring up this web browser. Okay, so now here I am looking at Google right now. So when I say we want to find something that intersects, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go straight to Amazon.com, and we're going to start by looking at Amazon, and particularly go straight to Kindle. So let's just let's skip a lot of the other stuff. Amazon obviously has available. Find out if people are actually buying information products. Are they buying stuff to read in order to learn more, in order to pass the time? Or is it something that they're interested in? And so when I start in the Kindle store, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing a lot of extensive research. I'm going to put in my general category. Now, the classic internet marketing category that people use in training is typically dog training. I'm not going to do that to you. I've done it in the past, but I'm not going to do it to you tonight. Let's start with something. Let's start with low carb dieting and the Atkins diet. And I know that there's already interest there, but I think if you get a chance to see just a methodology, so there you might start. I'm going to put in that gym into the Kindle store. And what I'm going to find is that, look, I can already see that there are quite a few. There are 513 results just for the Atkins diet, right? That's one branch of low carb dieting. And so I can really pretty much tell that there's actually some interest from other people, because there are 513 books that have already been created and that people are actually buying. Right. So what you want to do is you want to start with your general category and take a look in the Kindle store. Take a look to see if some of the books that have been written have actually been reviewed. Are people actually reading them? Are people really taking a look at this information? Because if they are, then people are likely to be looking to get information onto their tablet, onto their mobile device, onto their computer, and they will read your information if it's good, and if you can get in front of them. Now, you can do that inside of the Kindle store, and the Kindle store in general will tell you that. You can also do that inside of, I said, Udemy. Now, Udemy is going to be a little harder to decipher, right? It's going to be a little harder to decipher, but you can actually get a sense for whether or not people are buying the stuff inside of inside of this website, right? This is a place where people produce information products or courses in order to sell. You're just doing research right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in Atkins diet. And I have no idea of what I expect to find. So I'm not, I'm not setting you up. What you really do have to do. Okay. So there are some dieting products, but there isn't really thing necessarily directly related to the Atkins diet that I can see. Right? Maybe the search might be for low carb, right? Low carb dieting. Now, again, if I don't see this here, that isn't an indication that people are not interested. What it is an indication of is there's just not a lot of information products, and there might be then room for me to create an information product if I can actually show people something that people are actually struggling with, that people can actually be helped with. Now, again, your niche does not have to be the Atkins diet or dieting or anything like that. But if you already have an area of expertise, what I'm saying to you is that you want to find out if your area of expertise is struggling with. Now, I want to say this at the outset right now. When we talk about area of expertise in particular, now I know that I picked dieting. Now, one of the things that I have found, and we're going to talk about this a little later in tonight's session, is that your area of expertise might have just been something that you're experienced in. It might not necessarily be something that your profession is in. So when I say that you have an area of expertise, I'm not necessarily always talking about something that you have you were professionally doing for money. I'm saying that it could have been something, an experience that you went through, that you have an intimate understanding of what is actually happening. Now, I want to kind of go back to, my presentation, and we want to kind of pick it up here again. So again, you in particular, if this is you, you are going to start doing a simple search in those three places, right? Amazon, Google, and Udemy. You want, and again, your goal in looking at these websites is only to find out where your area of expertise intersects something that people are actually searching for. You want to keep playing with the terms of where you're an expert, right? Look for the areas in which there are already information products being created. You can also do this with the website Clickbank. We're going to be talking about Clickbank in tonight's session. Okay, now if you have any questions, just type them right there into the question box. I'll be happy to stop and address your questions in any of these sessions. So don't feel like you can't interrupt me when you have a question. Okay, now I want to talk about the majority of you. Like I said, now I just addressed what I feel to be probably, excuse me, 2 to 3% of you, right? And that's going to be people who already got an area of expertise where people are looking to buy something. And so you don't need to go looking for a niche if that's you. But now the majority of you are going to fall into another category. You probably don't have a niche that you're already an expert in, right? So you're coming to information marketing, you're coming to product creation, kind of looking to see where you can create something that people are actually going to be looking for, that people will actually buy, right? A digital product. And so if you don't have that started right, you are going to want to start looking to create products, right? Looking to create products in areas that already have people buying information products. Okay, and we're talking broadly again. We're talking broadly. You are going to want to look to start inside of 3 basic areas, right? Finance, health and beauty, and relationships. I mean, people are always be buying products in those areas. They are all products in areas that are going to help them to make or save more money, to help them to be young or to feel better, or to better their relationships. They will always do that. And whether or not it is a software program, whether or not it is a how-to guide or an ebook or a Kindle book or a course, people will always buy products in these areas. And so the majority of you are going to fall into this area if you don't already have an area of expertise. Now, if you have had some experience in one of these areas, more specifically in a sub niche, then you might want to consider, again, one of these broad areas. Again, this is one way to think about, and I talked about this in the last slide, but this is one way to think about your experience, right? I talked about, do you already have a level of expertise? Have you experienced something? Well, you might have thought, well, no, I don't really have an area of expertise. I didn't really experience anything that people want to buy something from me. But you could actually have it if you have it in one of these 3 broad areas, right? Have you had some area? Have you had some success in finance in some way, right? Helping them make or save more money. Have you had some breakthrough, right? In terms of health, have you had some breakthrough in terms of beauty, right? Something of interest. Did you have a breakthrough? Are you experiencing a breakthrough with your children, with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your spouse? Are you having some area of breakthrough that people want to know, that would really help people? Now, that is when I mention area of expertise, it's not necessarily that you're a professional. It may be that you had an experience that really helped you to get over the hump in this area, and that you could actually teach someone. And again, stop me if you have any questions here. This is pretty important when we start getting into where you're going to actually start looking this week to start figuring out, okay, where am I actually going to start looking to create products? Now, it's important to note that if you stay in these areas, finance, health and beauty, and relationships, you're going to find that there is always, right? Just take a look at Kindle, like we just showed you. There are always going to be people that are going to be looking to buy information. Now, that doesn't, and it's important to make that as distinction. right? People are always looking to learn something, right? But they're not always willing to pay for that information. People will pay to get better with money, right? People will pay to get healthier. People will pay for beauty. Why do people buy information products in these areas? Because look, people don't have or don't necessarily want to pay the fees of an accountant. They don't want to necessarily go through the slow way of learning how to find a better job or how to invest more. They want to find something that will really help them right now. Right. And that's why you're going to be able to sell information product in these areas. What can I do to help me to get better in my marriage right now? Right now. And so because of that, look, you're going to be able to find there are going to be plenty of people. And I want to get this over to you because you might feel like, well, there are not enough customers for me. There are plenty of customers in these areas. Now, again, it's going to be a little more competitive in these areas, but they're going to be a substantial number of people, information products. And so, I've heard this actually from other internet marketers. Well, people are not willing to buy information products because the economy's bad. Right. Or because people don't necessarily have jobs. That is exactly why they are going to buy information products. Because information products are a lot cheaper than actually going to pay the professionals in order to get them. Right. And so when you're putting your expertise, your experience into these products, that you're helping people not to have to go to the web, right, where there are tons of people who are gaming the search engines. You're gonna be able to build a level of trust with them because they want to be able to spend $7 to $37 to $47 as opposed to spending between $300 to $3,000, right, for information. The majority of you are going to fall into this area. Now, when you get into these broad areas, right, the key to being successful, right, in finding an actual niche is going to be it's a niche it down is what I call. Right, so it's not going to be if you get it to the point where, let's say, you're talking about dog training or the Atkins diet. Can you niche that down? Is there a subcategory? Can you talk about the Atkins diet during the induction phase? Can you talk about the Atkins diet and how to buy foods in it? Can you talk about the Atkins diet and how to maintain it? Can you talk diet and how and what it means to exercise? In other words, take the broad category and niche it down as far as you can. The majority of you are going to fall into this area. Now, when you start talking about, well, how do I even know what to start thinking about? We are going to be talking about that in this actual session. But again, if you're not an expert in the area, I don't want you to feel like, well, I can't do this. You can do this, and you will do it actually this week. You're going to find out that in some of those broad areas, some of you have already had some of those experiences, going to be benefit to other people. But even if you haven't, you are still going to be able to create products that people are going to buy. Okay, so I'm going to suggest, and in this course, that we start with Clickbank. Right, we start with Clickbank. And we are going to start with Clickbank mainly because we want to be able to pretty much look at the broad categories that people are looking at when they're creating information products. Right, so let's take a look at Clickbank. Now I want to go back to my screen here. And I'm going to go to Clickbank, right? And I want you to go there also. Now, Clickbank, you may or may not be creating a product inside of Clickbank, and that's okay. But it has its finger on the pulse of where people are actually creating and buying information products. And so what I want you to do is, I'm not going to go inside of my account here. We don't even have to go. You don't even have to have an account right now for what we're going to do. Right, I want to go to Clickbank. And really, all I really want to do is go to the marketplace. And that's where we want to start. Now, here's what you're going to see. Look at that left-hand side column. Arts and entertainment, betting systems, business and investing, computers and internet. And all these things are things where people are creating information products. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going to start creating yours, and that's where you're going to have the most success. Now, again, remember that people are going to be buying in those broad categories with enthusiasm, right? They're going to be buying in those areas with enthusiasm. Now, I'm saying that you want to start with Clickbank to start determining where your niche might be, because you're going to get an idea of where you can actually create something that people are going to want to know. Okay, now let's I want to talk back through a couple of things here, and as we do this, what I want to do in starting with the Clickbank Marketplace is I want you to first look at their general categories, right? I want you to start looking at the general categories here on the left-hand side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go inside of here, and we are going to actually look at the products that people are actually promoting, right? So let's go inside of these areas and find out what are people already promoting. Now let's see. I'm going to have to get back to my screen here. Okay, we are going to okay, I need to get to my screen here. 1 second here. All right. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. Now we are inside of Clickbank here. And what you're going to notice here is as we go through this. Now, remember, I want you to start looking at these categories. And again, I want you to start thinking about those broad categories. Now, betting systems, again, great topic, probably great categories. If you want to look in there, you can go ahead and do that. However, if they don't fall in those three broad areas, if you're not an expert there already, I'm going to say you want to stay away from those things for your first product. Arts and entertainment, same thing. I mean, if you're already an expert in those areas, you can kind of look to see if there's that intersection. But again, we're not gonna start there. Cooking, food, and wine is the same thing. E-business and e-marketing, that falls into finance, right? Computers and internet falls into finance. Business and investing falls into finance. Education, employment and jobs falls into finance. Fiction, I'm going to say no unless it is about making money, right? For fiction. Games, same thing. There are areas, and now if you're already an expert there, right, then you can use this category. If you're not, then I'm going to suggest that you leave this part alone. Green products. Again, if you're already an expert, or if it doesn't have anything to do with making money, kind of steer clear of this for your first product. Health and fitness, right in there. Home and garden falls into that expertise area. If that's you, then you might want to look in there to see what's going on. If not, no. Languages is that area of expertise. You already have a level of expertise in a language, right? If you don't, this is not the place to start. Mobile, right, falls into money, right? Parenting and family falls into relationships. Politics and current events. Once again, if you're an expert, you already have I'd say some following, or you have or you sort of already into this niche, then yes. If not, no. Reference, Again, if it has to do with making money, yes. If not, no. Self-help can sometimes fall into the health and beauty or make money area. So you can take a look there. Software and services, yep, falls into make money. Spirituality, again, if you're not already an expert there, you haven't been having any particular breakthrough, I'm going to say you want to steer clear of that for your first product. Sports, again, you need to really be having having something that you're already into, something that you're already doing. If not, for your first product, I'm going to say until you learn this process, let's just let sports go. Okay, and then travel. If you're already traveling or you've already done something or you're doing something, yes. If not, then no. I mean, take a look at the categories in this area. Now, what we want to do is we want to categories in one of these broad areas. Let's start with, let's say, e-business and e-marketing. All right, when I take a look at that category, what I'm going to see here is I'm already going to see that there are some products here. Now, if you can't, what the process that you want to go through is you're going to see a drop down menu, and you're going to sort by gravity. And this, again, what we're doing is we're picking a niche. We're not getting into products. Now, why am I sorting according to gravity? I'm sorting according to gravity because I want to see what affiliates are promoting. In general, if a lot of affiliates are promoting, they're probably going to be making money. Now, I want you to take a look at this category to determine which area you want to be in. Get into these areas that are in those three broad categories. You can start to take a look at what kind of products are created that people are actually promoting, right? That people are actually getting affiliates for, right? And in general, if affiliates are making money, they're going to promote. And this is a good indication that, hey, this is a good niche to be in, right? The e-business and e-marketing, right? It has products where people are promoting. Now, this doesn't mean that your product has to be exactly like this one or anything like this one. We're just saying, hey, this is a great niche to be in. Right? This will give you great ideas on which niche you want to be in. Again, go into these areas to determine either, again, where you have that level of expertise, where you might actually be able to find something that you will be able to deliver. And I want to help you with that process in these remaining parts of my presentation here, because I think this is really going to be helpful for a lot of you. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this right back on here. Okay, so we talked about starting with Clickbank, taking a look and looking at those products that affiliates are actually actively promoting. And now when you start thinking about this, as you're going through these niches on Clickbank, ask yourself, or really start thinking about, can the topic be niched down even more, right? So broad area, right? We're looking at those broad areas on Clickbank. We're looking at finance. We're looking at areas where people are making more money. You need to start thinking about, okay, where can I niche down that area even more? And those products will give you an idea of how to niche them down, right? The products that are selling, that are being promoted, have already been niched down. They will give you an idea of how to come down from the broad category of finance and making more money to, right, products that will actually sell. How do I come down from the broad area of health and beauty to something that will actually sell? Okay, when you start looking at these things, think about this on Clickbank. Can you add something? Can you add a product that's a companion product? Or in other words, can you bring some new insight on products that are already being created, things that are already being sold? And I ask you this because this is really This is really going to make things going to streamline things for you tremendously. If when you go through that Clickbank marketplace and you see something in an area that you can offer a companion product, something that's not being discussed, something that's not being discussed that people want to know about, this is going to make your product creation process extremely easy. Now, again, that's not going to be most of you, but some of you are going to see that right away when you go through that broad category in the way that I just suggested to you. Now, what does all this tell you about the niche you want to be in? Right? Again, we looked at these real broad areas. We want to bring it down to a niche. What does Clickbank tell you? What are people promoting? What are people buying? And what is popular? Right? You should be thinking then it should tell you something about what's available to be created. Now, whatever we come up with, right, whatever we conclude, we're going to need to confirm this, right? We're going to need to confirm our suspicions. We're going to need to confirm our thoughts. We're going to need to confirm them on the web. Now, we're going to need to confirm them first with Amazon and Google. Right, we're going to confirm the first with Amazon and Google. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, does Amazon indicate that people are buying ebooks in this area? Right? Okay. Does Google indicate that there's search traffic? Right? Now, you can look inside of Google. I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. Does YouTube indicate that there are actual searches? Right? What does Google Suggest tell you about the niche? What does YouTube Suggest tell you about this niche? You can also look at Facebook and do a general search also to confirm these things. Are there active groups in this area? And are there active pages? Now, I know that I said a lot there. Let's kind of go through that here because it's going to be, again, it doesn't have to take a lot of effort. However, it is pretty important. So let's kind of go through. Let's go through this, and let's take a look first. We've already done the Atkins diet here, and what I want to do is I actually want to go to take a look at. Let's take a look first at Google. And one of the things I like to do is I like to take a look at Google Suggest. And so what I do when I do that is I will start by typing in my search term, okay, or my topic, or my broad topic. And this will give me an idea of what people are actually searching for. This is called Google Suggest. And it will tell you what the most recent searches are on a particular area. Now, it's actually there to help people search for things that they might be looking for based on what other people are looking for. But you're going to reverse engineer this to try to figure out, okay, well, look, people are actually searching for this information. If you've already been if you've been on YouTube, you'll know that you can do the very same thing, right? Inside of YouTube Suggest. Let's take a look and do the very same thing. I'm just going to type in Atkins diet. I can actually see things that are actually being searched for, right? I can take a look at those things. This will give me an indication of where people are actually doing their searches, right? This is where people are looking for information. And so you want to use this to your advantage because, again, we're just determining where our niche is going to be and trying to nail it, to nail it down, to niche it down to determine what we can actually create a product on. Right now, we want to take a look again at Google. Now, I'm going to suggest that you take a look at a site called Google Trends. Right? Just type in google.com/trends. And when I do that, what I'm going to do here is there is a link here that says explore in depth. I'm going to click that link. When I get to the explore area, what I'm going to do is you're going to see a bar at the top. I'm going to keep my search worldwide, and I'm going to bring my search in to the last 12 months. Right now, Google is going to start asking you about categories. Now, this is going to be important. Now, in general, there are a couple of ways to do this. Now, when Google says business and industrial and also finance, now it depends on who you're going to be selling to. You want to find out, well, what are the topics that people are looking for inside of finance, right? I can start my search right there. Now, in general, Google Trends is going to give me information right off the bat. Right now, when I do this, I want you to look down at the bottom in whatever niche that you decide over the last 12 months. It will tell you what the most popular searches are, as well as I can go over to this button to figure out, well, what are the searches that are rising in popularity. Right now, this information may or may not tell you anything, but you can then start drilling down to find out, well, what are people actually looking for. What I can also do is I can actually go back to do all categories, and I can then add in my own term, since I have a broad sense of what I want to talk about. And if I type in Atkins diet, right, I can then start looking to see, what does Google tell me about this search term? Okay, so that there is some popularity, but I can also tell what searches are rising in popularity. Right, and if this doesn't necessarily confirm that there are actual searches that people are actually really into this topic, I may not want to choose that as a niche for my first product. If it is, then I may want to choose it as a niche for my first product. So again, we want Google and Amazon to confirm what we think about our topic. Right? We've already looked at Amazon. We've seen that they're in this area, so people are buying them. We've got some indication from Google Trends. We've got some indication from YouTube Suggest and Google Suggest as to what a topic could be. Okay, now what we want to do now is I want to kind of go back here, and we talked about and let's see. I want to actually miss doing Facebook. Now, again, I wouldn't rely necessarily on this information, but the number of groups that are available can give you some indication as to whether or not there is a concern for your topic. Right, so I'm going to type in Atkins diet. I'm going to type in Atkins diet. Right, and it's an area of interest. You'll see that there are some pages and there are groups available. So you may want to, and you are going to at some point want to know what's happening in these groups. But again, the fact that there are lots of groups means that there is interest in these areas. So you're going to want to do that inside of Facebook and your other social media. Now, we don't want to take a long time for this, right? The objective is not for you to spend weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks trying to determine what your niche is. You're just trying to determine, in general, are people interested in this? And if so, where are people interested? Can I break down the topic as far as it can go so I can create a product that people will actually buy and consume? Right? Okay, so now let's kind of go back here. And we've talked about confirming with Amazon and Google. Now let's talk about actually making the choices, right? So the actual choice we're going to make about niches. Now, if you're talking about doing stuff like diets and any of these other areas, right? And you can see yourself, right, doing videos, writing articles, doing interviews, and lots of stuff. Content is basically podcasts and articles. If you can see yourself on this topic, doing a lot of content like that in order to attract people into your marketing funnel, then you can have success in that area. And you don't have to start out as an expert, right? But you can still build a following in the niche that you choose, right? So again, now the objective is to create a product to sell. Now, there are some people within a niche, right? When you get started and you don't have a following, there are people who take a more risky approach. Okay, and you start out by doing what I call a diary, right? So in other words, people are following you as you go, right? So your strategy is going to be a little different, but you're going to be attracting the people that are actually going to buy your product, right? You are attracting the people that are actually going to buy your product. They are following you as you make your progress. And here's why that strategy is risky, because you're going to have to wait before you can actually sell you're probably not going to sell a number of little products. You're probably going to sell a larger product, and you're going to sell it after some time, because you're not really positioning yourself as an expert. So you're creating your content, you're writing your blog, you're doing your podcast, and you're talking about a topic area, and you are the subject, right? And this works like crazy, right? And your product, you're probably going to sell for a little more when people are actually ready to buy it, because they've been down the journey with you, right? And you're going to have the credibility with people because they will have watched your progress. But it does, again, have some risk, because you are not positioning yourself as an expert. You are becoming an expert in front of them, right? And this is important, but people do connect with you, and you're not going to have to fight for traffic for your product. So this is a way to create content that will eventually become your product. You are not going to have to search for content. When we get to that, you're not going to have to search for what to do to create the product. You will be creating the product as you write about your experience, as you do videos, as you do your podcast, right? So understand that you're doing this as a product creator eventually. But your goal is, for a while, it's just going to be to relate to your audience. Okay. So whatever your niche is, right? Whatever niche you decide on, if you're good at keeping people interested, right? That's going to be the key, because those are going to be the people who are going to buy your products. Okay. This is going to be a good place for you to start creating. So you're looking now at the topic area. You've gone through Clickbank, you've gone through Amazon, you've gone through Google, and if you haven't, of course, by the time you've seen this, you might be seeing this for the first time. You want to start with that this week. You want to start with that process this week. Now, if none of those things interest you, you will probably want to, and this is going to be this is going to be 80 to 90% of you. You're going to start in the finances or make money niche. And it doesn't. And one of the beauties about this niche is it doesn't necessarily require that you be an expert, right? Or status, right? Or following of any kind. You don't have to have any of that stuff in order to create a product that's going to make you money. And so inside of the finances niche, yes, being an expert, being a professional, being somebody who's already done it helps you, but it's not necessary. And this was something I really struggled with at the beginning, right? I really struggled with this. And in some cases, you don't want that to hold you back from creating a product. I'm going to be talking about that in this course, but you need to know and understand. Don't feel like you're going to have to be an absolute expert to create products in this niche. Now, when you're creating products, information products, you're going to be teaching people something. It works best when you can get a result in the areas that others are struggling in. And I cannot stress that enough. That is your golden ticket inside of the finances niche. And in some cases, when I've actually taught this on webinars, where I've said to people, go and get a result, right? Get a result, right? If you want to teach people about saving money, right, when you have no money, then get the results, track your results, record your results. Do the things that you can verify to the people that you've actually had the experience that you're teaching them in. Now, when you can show people that you've made or saved money, more money than the average person, with more speed and less effort, you will have a good information product that people are going to be interested in, right? And I'm talking about in the make money online issue. I mean, so you've had a result in an area that a lot of people are struggling in. They haven't had any. The average person hasn't had this. Doesn't mean they can't do it, right? And if you can do it faster and you can do it with less effort, then people are going to be interested, right? It's a really simple formula, and people are going to be willing to come to you and buy the product from you. And again, now I'm not going to ever suggest that you make false promises. I'm not going to ever suggest that you try to teach in an area you haven't had results in, right? So when you come to this, if you can do this now, if you don't have the result yet, don't worry about that and don't get intimidated. I'm going to be sharing with you how you do that inside of this course. Okay, so now this is really the real deal in terms of what you're going to be able to do. Now, if you cannot do this right inside of the finance area, as I said, don't worry. You are going to create your product in the internet marketing or make money online niche. Okay, you're going to create information products for other people who want to make money online. So I've kind of broken this down. You finance people are going to be 80 to 90% of you who are going to be working inside this area. And then the internet marketing or make money online sub niche is where most of you are going to be in this course. Right. So I would break this down to be 75% of you are going to be doing this. Okay. So now if you can succeed, if you decide you want to create products in the internet marketing sub niche, you can succeed in this area. Right. So you're looking around, you're thinking, boy, everybody's already created the products. There are always all these great products. I don't know how to create. I don't know where to start. You are going to be able to create products in this niche and you are going to be able to succeed. Now, you are going to have to recognize that this sub niche is extremely competitive, right? It's extremely competitive. And you're going to have to recognize that when you create a product, here's what people want. They want results fast, right? So you're going to sell a product. People want results yesterday, right? And you can deliver them. We're going to be showing you how to do that. But when you operate inside of the internet marketing niche, that is the product that's going to sell for you. Okay, the greater the result, the more people are going to pay for your product. The closer you get them to an actual result. So sometimes you might teach them how to create a WordPress website. Well, that's great, right? But people are not going to pay as much for that as something that's going to get them results fast. I need you to understand that. So you can teach them how to take an interim step, but the interim step doesn't end in them actually getting some cash in their pocket. They might be willing to buy that if they want to learn that, but not going to pay as much as something that promises a direct result, right? So now, what you're going to need to do if you want to operate in this niche, and you just need to get a feel, and you probably have bought a number of products already. You need to spend an entire day this week, okay, in these areas. So if your day gives you 2 or 3 hours to work on your internet marketing business, okay, so you're going to spend that 2 hours in these places: the Warrior, the WSO section there, the JVZoo Marketplace, Zax, and Clickbank. So if all you've got is 1 hour, that's all it's going to take to spend 1 hour. If you've got 2 hours, then because the key is going to be for you to spend the time in these places and then to take a night to think about it, right? So just take whatever time you have one day, right? If you only have 30 minutes for a day, take some time and spend in these marketplaces. One day. Now, that's one day, not every day, not 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, one day in these marketplaces so that you can take a look to see what kind of products are actually selling. What are the price points? Okay, what are people doing? What are they helping people with? Where's their perspective? Are they experts? How did they come to the marketplace? Okay, so what are the sub niches you can teach people about inside of internet marketing? Right? You can teach people. What would you like to teach people about? You can teach people about affiliate marketing. In other words, how to be able to make money when you don't have a product of your own. You can teach people about how to get traffic, okay, social media and SEO. You can teach people about consulting, small business consulting, or offline marketing, mobile marketing. I put all that in the same category. You can teach people about CPA marketing or lead generation. In other words, you know, CPA marketing is cost per action. What you're excuse me, what you're doing in CPA marketing is all you're doing is you're getting leads for a company, right? And they're paying you for it, right? Okay, list building. You can teach people about how to build a list. You can teach people about how to do paid advertising, like Facebook ads or Google AdWords, right? You can teach people how to do retailing with Amazon. That's really big now. Amazon FBA, and how to build sites and how to build websites and how to sell things through the Amazon website. In other words, how to retail products and live on the profits. You can create private label rights products, right? So how to take the work or product of someone else and sell it as your own. You can teach people how to launch products, right? Launch marketing. You can teach people niche marketing, how to find your niche, right? What we're doing on this webinar, on this training, you can build an entire course around this. You can build an entire set of courses around this, just on how you pick a niche, find a way to sell the product, and sell the product within a niche. It is a deep topic as well as very broad niche marketing. You can teach blogging. You can also teach podcasting or broadcasting for those of you who use Google Hangouts and using video. You know, I didn't even put in there video marketing. So there are lots of sub niches of internet marketing that you can actually teach. You can teach how to collect advertising money, right? There are a lot of topics that you can actually create when you go inside of the Warrior Forum and the places where the make money online niche is. What you're going to do is you're going to find out, well, where are people asking questions, right? What do people want to niches? So you're going to have to find some groups in Facebook. You're going to have to find some places inside of some of the marketing forums, and you need to hang out where your customers are going to be, right? You're not going there to try to prove your expertise. You're going there actually to do what I call lurking. You're hanging out where your customers are. You're trying to figure out what questions are they asking repeatedly. Okay, what are they asking over and over and over again? What kind of questions are getting repeated? What are people struggling with? Okay, inside of there, write those things down. They're going to be your product titles. What do people say? Now, you'll hear this inside of many forums, especially in internet marketing. Nobody ever teaches this. Nobody ever really gets around to talking about this, right? I haven't heard anybody really sharing anything about this. Okay, look over the products that people say they got the most out of, right? The ones they like the most. And because again, those are going to be the things that people will actually come back to again and again and again and again. What are people asking the questions about? And then once you've done that, right, this is the point of the exercise and the point of this week. You're doing all this so that you can pick something, right? So this is going to end your niche controversy if you've had one. You're going to pick 2 or 3. You're going to pick them. Now, I understand that this means that there are other things you can't do. You can always come back to the other niches if this one doesn't necessarily sell as well for you that you like. Okay, pick 2 or 3. I'm going to say 2. Some people like the number 3, but I'm going to say decide on 2 once you find out where people are asking their questions. Once you've been inside some groups and you find out, okay, you know what? This is the area that people are really struggling with, that they want help with. Okay, then once you've done that, I want you to go to the final step for this week. Now, this week, here's what we're going to do. Okay, you're going to decide on your top 2 to 3 niches. Then once you decide it, go back to Clickbank. Okay, Warrior Forum. Are there already products in these niches, right? Okay, is this something that is for newbies, right? Is this for newbies? Now, newbies can get, but there's some things that are advanced, like SEO. There's some things that are going to be advanced that require money and require resources that are not made for newbies. And you can kind of tell when you get inside of the niche, determine if this is going to be something for new people. And then determine where there's area. Look, and I probably should not have asked you the question that way. Is there room for another product? There's always room for another product. Okay, think about all the books on your subject that you own on any one subject that you like. Right, you probably have more than 10. And so you're probably going to find that if you're the 11th person with a different twist, okay, in a particular sub niche, you are actually going to be able to do well in that area. Okay, now, did people purchase the products, okay, in your niche because somebody else is experienced in it? Right, that's going to be important to note as you create your product. Again, the goal of this week is for you to pick the niche in order to start doing research. Okay, now in your sub niche, is there new information from the blogs? Right, are people talking about this stuff already? Okay, you know, and when you do this, just start jotting down the potential titles. Right, start writing down the potential titles of the product so that you know pretty much what's going to be going on, right? You have some idea of where this process is going for you. You have some idea of what you can actually create, because during the next session, we're going to take this one step further. So your goal this week is to look at 2 to 3 realistic niches, and we're going to go forward from this point. Okay, the goal is for us to get a product created. And so we can't do that if you're paralyzed by what niche you are going to be in. Now, obviously, you're going to have questions at this stage. I want you to contact me if you have them. Right? Contact me if you have any questions at this stage. Okay, so you've got your 2, 3 sub niches. You just kind of feel like, okay, I don't really know if this is really what I want. You to contact me, send me an email, and ask me if I think that what you have are the good are sub niches at this point. Right? It's very important for you to kind of get this. You don't have to get it exactly right, but you do need to get it to the point where it's workable. Right? It needs to be workable. Okay, so that's going to be pretty much it for this week. And again, if you have any questions, email me. And but don't email me until you've gone through this process, right? It's not gonna help you any, and you're not gonna get the product done. Trust me. If you go through this process and you've already gotten to the point, you got your 2, 3 sub niches, and you really feel like you need to contact me, then email me. Most of you will not if you go through this process. You won't need me. Right? If you've already picked the 2 to 3 sub niches and you've done the research the way we talked about on this call, then you're not going to have to talk to me. But if you do, that's no problem. Send me an email. Okay, everybody. So this is where you are going to get started. You must, if you're going to finish in 30 days, you must complete this week. Okay, before our next session. Make sure that you're going through the to your webinars. Make sure that you have your next link. Okay, we'll be meeting 1 week from today, 1 week from right now, in order to do the next session. Okay, so with that, thank you, everybody. I will see you next week. You must take these steps this week. If you just cannot, then please let me know. But if so, get this going. Get yourself a niche. Get your 2 to 3 sub niches so that we can get started in the rest of the course. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.